Olá, minhas amigas! Welcome back to my channel. Today I thought I would show you how I track my writing time and how I have tracked my habits and how I did that in the year 2020. Thought it might be something fun for you guys to see as we are now in the new year and heading forward into the new year, and just some fun ideas for you to think about how you might go about tracking your writing time. So first of all, why track your writing time? Well, if you don't want to track your writing time, that's fine. I started tracking my writing time when I was in high school because I needed to be keeping a track of that so my mom could use that when she was working on my schoolwork records and my transcripts and things like that. But I've continued to track my writing time for a couple of different reasons. One, it kind of just became a habit, and so I kind of just kept doing it, and I liked the way it felt to kind of be mentally keeping track of how much time I was spending writing. It was just something satisfying to me about, keeping track of how much time I've spent lately on writing something. And then another reason, and this is probably one of the cooler parts about it, is that you can tally up how much time you've spent on a specific project. Now, you could use this just for your own personal gratification, your own personal enjoyment, or theoretically, if you were going to be calculating, author costs, things like that, it might be helpful to know approximately how long it takes you to write such and so length of a book to keep in mind when you're working on things like pricing or something like that. Not my area of expertise, but it could be something that could come in handy. So whenever I track my writing time, I do it on pieces of notebook paper, and you can see here that I have collected quite a little booklets worth of writing time tracking over the years, and many of these are double-sided too. Ever since it looks like May 24th, 2017, I have been tracking my writing time. And what I do is I will write the date and the year, and then how much time I spent writing something. So you can see that back in 2017, I spent 13 minutes working on a story called Sweet Rose, the second draft of it. It was just a little fun project that I was working on a few years ago that didn't really end up turning into anything. But that is how I format my writing time tracker. When I wrote, how long I wrote, and what I was writing. And that allows me to, over time, if I want to, track specifically how long I worked on a certain project. So I actually have made a note to myself from, this would have been last year, I think, when I was working on my Camp Nanowrimo project, that I had spent about 28 hours writing that project by May 2nd. So that's pretty cool. It's neat to be able to see how much time you've put into a project, what you've worked on throughout the years when you get it to the point that I have it, and it's neat to be able to go and look back. In fact, this page actually has the first entries, I think, for when I was writing Free, my novel. I think I started that way back in 2017 it would have been, July, and at the time it was a secret project, so I actually marked it with a little star so nobody could find my papers and figure out the title of what I was writing and ask me questions, because I wanted it to be a surprise. I didn't want anything to be spoiled for anybody. It's fun to look back, and it's almost like a time capsule of the different things that I've been working on at different times. Oh, and in case you didn't notice, yes, I did make a rainbow pattern for quite some time with my pens that I use to track this. Yeah, that is totally something that was so me. I nowadays just use the same color pen because I don't really care. But yeah, it's really neat to be able to look back and just appreciate the work that you've put into your craft. There were times where I didn't write for weeks, or maybe even I would go a month or so without really working on anything. Right now I'm actually kind of in a break phase. I'm not particularly writing any projects because I have a lot going on, so I'm kind of just in the ideas phase of a lot of things. But it's really fun to be able to look back and see how much time I put into this. It's just really satisfying for me to be able to see that dedication to my craft on a piece of paper, because every now and then we writers, we just need a little bit of encouragement, a little bit of satisfaction and gratification in our work. Even just something as simple as, hey, we've put a lot of time into this. I think that's satisfying. So what about habits other than just writing? While writing is important, there are plenty of other habits that contribute not only to our productivity, but also to our health and to our well-being. So last year what I started doing is a habit tracker, and you may remember seeing this on some of my different Nanowrimo vlogs that I did back in November, as I showed you kind of my different habits that I was or wasn't fulfilling. So we have here in this habit tracker different kind of categories as time went on, and this just allows me to see what areas I need to improve on. Sometimes I would set goals for myself, like this month I want to have where out of 30 days in a month, I want maximum half of those days to be days where I watch YouTube or something like that. So for example, here is the month of February in my habit tracker, and you can see how I blocked out and marked out a day for each day that I did one of these things, whether it was editing, workout, YouTube, watch YouTube, not upload to YouTube. I wish I could upload to YouTube that much. And writing. And so like you can see for this month, I watched a lot of YouTube, didn't do a lot of those other things. And then by the time I got to later months, sometimes I would add something, like I added stretching, like what days I made sure to stretch out, because I have found that staying stretched out helps me really not have as much tension in my body, and that helps me not just with writing, but with, you know, anxiousness, anxiety, things like that, and it really just kind of helps me feel better overall. Of course, you can put whatever, you know, trackers you want in your habit tracker. I just chose a few that I felt like were relevant, something I genuinely wanted to track. I know a lot of people like to track things like drinking water or when they upload to social media, things like that. I didn't choose to put those in here, but you certainly could. And I just totally realized that I misspelled the word crafting. So there's that. I just use for my habit tracker here, might as well show you another page while I'm at it. For my habit tracker, here's the month of June. I added on this one when I practice my music, because I do play a couple of instruments, but unfortunately there have been some circumstances and I haven't really been practicing it as much. So you'll see that one come and go a little bit. And then when I got to November, you'll remember this one from Nanowrimo probably, I swapped out the music for grading. And who knows if I spelled exercise correctly. Probably didn't. That's a hard word for me to spell. But here is the habit tracker for November. And what I do is I use a dot grid paper insert for my happy planner that I used last year. And I just use that, come on focus, to make a little grid, and I slash out the days that aren't going to be a part of the month. And that just allows me to have a quick, easy spread of what I want to track. I haven't completely figured out how I'm going to go about tracking my habits this year, because I am not using a habit planner right now. I'm just using a wall calendar, because I was using this to do like my Bible study, and I'm kind of not really doing that this year, so I'm not completely sure how I'm going to go about tracking my habits. I could just do it in the back of this one, or I might find a new way to do it. I'm not sure yet. If you have any ideas, let me know down in the comments, because that would be a lot of fun to test out lots of different methods. So yeah, if you have any favorite methods for tracking your habits, be sure to let me know down in the comments. It also helped me to see like my productivity, like what days I was writing at a glance, what days I was getting exercise at a glance, and you may remember seeing some of that in my Nanowrimo. It really just helped me, you know, visualize what I was getting done, what I was doing, what I needed to work on. And that can be really helpful, because writing is just one aspect of our lives. And if you're like me, you have a lot of things going on, and sometimes it feels like you're not really getting anywhere in any one of those places. And being able to see that you have worked on such and so things consistently can be very encouraging. For me, I want habit trackers and writing trackers and things like that to be something that's going to encourage me and not discourage me. Not make me think about everything I'm not getting done, but make me see what I have gotten done and be grateful for that. Also, while you're down there in the comments, if you have a different way that you like to track your writing time, or if you have a specific aspect to your habit tracker or writing tracker that you'd like to share, please feel free and let me know. One of the things I love about writing is the writing community, and how there's so much we can learn from each other. There's so many helpful tips and tricks and little things that we've each discovered that can be really fun to share as we go along this journey together. Speaking of going along this journey together, if you haven't already, please do make sure you subscribe. I really enjoy having a community here, and for those of you who are subscribed, thank you so much for your support. It really means a lot to me, and I have had so much fun going on this journey with you. I will see you in the next coming videos in the following weeks and months, and happy writing/writing tracking. I will see you guys next time. Get out there and write the story that God called you to write. Bye-bye.